Today I'm doing a video on this 99 vfr800, doing spark plugs, fuel pump, air filter, oil change, all the good stuff. There's no videos for spark plugs, so I'm gonna make this quick video, and we're gonna start by taking off the seat. Very easy. You turn the key, there's a little latch down here. Pop the seat off, pop the tank off, we'll go from there. All right, so what you wanna do is prop your tank up and get a crappy rag and jam it underneath here. And you're gonna have a couple connectors to undo. Electrical connector, the main gas fuel line, and it looks like one breather, and a couple that run up to the top of the tank. You wanna make sure they all look different sizes, so you wanna make sure you know where they're going when you unplug them. So we're gonna do that. A good rule of thumb when you're taking stuff apart is to just take a quick picture, because even though it looks simple, oftentimes you'll find yourself wondering where lines ran. Did it run on top? Did it run underneath? A quick picture can save you a lot of trouble. These puppies right here are dirt cheap, and they are wonderful. Let's get a good angle here. You can reach up. All right, this is not good. My oil jug prop is really lovely. Let's see here. Okay, these suckers, get up around here, get a clamp on it, break it loose, and work it down. A little aggressive, but you get the gist. Save your hoses, very nice. So, both of those lines spew fuel when you undo them, so you wanna make sure you get fuel everywhere, and so your garage reeks like fuel to work on this lovely motorcycle. So keep that in mind, fuel everywhere. All right, from here, it's gonna be pretty easy to pull that fuel pump assembly out and replace the pump. So I'm gonna do that after draining the tank in a minute. But from a quick check, those spark plugs are gonna be very easy. These spark plugs are most likely hidden completely under the airbox. So we're gonna remove that. Looks like a couple screws, and I'm gonna take a quick picture just so I can remember where those lines go, and undo some screws and pull that sucker off. Looks like we got all the bolts and bits and bobs undone. I'm gonna give her a quick blow job and pop the cover. Get all that dirt off there so you don't fall in the intake. Okay, here's the big reveal. Oh geez. Well, I bet the old Honda loves sucking that. Goodness gracious. Glad I ordered a new filter. So after a little investigating, I realized this is gonna be easier than I thought. Since she's a V4, right behind the back wheels is the front head, and the spark plugs are behind the oil cooler. So I'm hoping there's two 8mm bolts right there. I'm hoping I can take those off and somewhat maneuver it. We got hard lines here, so I'm hoping I can just, I gotta take all these fairings off for the oil change anyways. So I think I'm gonna do that and then see what happens. This should be real easy. Let's get her done. I do have to say, I am impressed with ease of disassembly. After all, it is a Honda. And a couple missing clips and screws certainly help, but she's off. So now, 2/8, drop that oil cooler, and it looks like we have plenty of room. Probably about 6 inches right there, I'd reckon. Drop her down and see what happens. I've done a couple street bike spark plug jobs. I do have to say, this one is very simple. Very simple. A good tip before removing the plug is give it a quick blow. Make sure nothing's gonna fall down in there when you remove the plug. And it looks like two small extendos is gonna be the perfect match. And we're gonna remove that sucker. Well, so I've put maybe a couple 100 miles on this bike last year. That was finger tight. I didn't even use the ratchet. I was like, man, is this spark plug not going, or the socket not going over the plug? Nope, just completely loose. Looks like it's probably due for a change, and there's quite a bit of oil on there. I sure hope it's not stripped. That would be a major bummer. But let's find out. I've had a couple spark plugs loose. Not that loose. That was very loose. Kind of scary. Luckily, the other threads aren't fully stripped. They don't feel extremely healthy, so I didn't crank it down in case it got loose again, because we don't like that. On this side, that oil cooler mount really is kind of in the way, so you got to be careful with that plug. You don't want to rip it, but we got her off. There's just enough room if you're careful. I kind of pushed that mount back a bit, and she popped right out. So let's remove this Sparky boy. That one wasn't very tight either. Not as loose as the other side, but certainly not tight. And lots of oil again. This bike was slightly misfiring. I mean, it wasn't horrific. I was riding it fine. That's not great. Oh yeah, and when I was pulling that tank off, I snapped this lovely sun-rotted attachment. So I think super glue is gonna be my friend today. Yes, I do. Fronts are done. Oil cooler is back on. And now to the rears. These look so simple because they are. And these have this lovely cap here that stops all the debris from falling down in. But it's good practice because on machines like that, they do not have such high-tech stuff, and there's often dirt caked around, so you just always want to blow it off. But yeah, these are gonna be easy. Get those done real quick. Boom, get them done. And there they are, and oily as can be, and finger tight. Not even freaking tight, guys, both of them. I've never had a machine where all the spark plugs were completely loose and it run this good, because it ran good. I mean, it's a ripper, it's a vfr. Okay, we're gonna actually tighten the spark plugs and slap these puppies back in, and then the air filter, we'll get that done. And then fuel pump, and then seat cover, oil change, and new blinkers that are tinted. Look at those, oh my gosh. Those are gonna look so good, look at those. Chinese special, baby. Okay, get her done. Okay, those are installed. Make sure when you're tightening them that you don't go more than like half a turn tight, because these threads feel very weak, and I'm sure that they get stripped often. Also, that shield was underneath the boot. Probably not great, probably fine, but probably not great. Make sure you pull that out and then just tuck it in real nice. And she's done. And now, if you look here on these throttle bodies, there's quite a bit of buildup. Quite a bit, especially on the outside. I mean, certainly not clean. So I'm gonna take probably some of this good stuff here, and I'm gonna spray it in there, and then I'm gonna wipe it out and clean it up, blow it off, put the air filter in, and put the cover back on. Good little maintenance. Yeah, let's get her done. I gotta stop saying that, for real. Okay, this is from the first throttle body. Pretty dang dirty. Certainly not the worst I've seen, but pretty dang dirty. And it's looking pretty clean. Still gonna blow it out, but compared to that, it's looking pretty dang good. So all I'm doing is just pulling a bit of that in there, and then I'm jamming the rag down in here with my finger, and then I'm twisting it. Twist it real good. And holy cow, all there is to it. That should make a little bit of difference. Probably not, but hey, worth it while I'm in here. So finish those two. Air filter, yes sir. All right, there's the rag. Not horrific, certainly not great, but she's clean and blown out. And now the air filter, very nicely, slaps right in there. Yeah, I think she's good. And then the old caparoonie, and it's clean. Slap that right there. Make sure she actually seats properly all the way around and put the screws back in. That doesn't seem to want to fit right. There she goes. Okay, golden, and she's back. Okay, so these puppies right here are amazing. You get a screw that's real tight. You know, I could probably fit one of the regular size ones, but as it unscrews, then it's gonna want to strip your thread since it's going into plastic. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room there. These little suckers on eBay, if you just look up like tiny screwdrivers, I think is what I did. It comes with flatheads too. And these are beautiful for tuning carburetors. When you have a carburetor that has the air-fueled jet, this one doesn't, but it's so tight it couldn't. Underneath there, everybody knows how hard it is to adjust those. These suckers right here, you can actually get in there and adjust them. And it is beautiful. So we're gonna get these swapped. And it's gonna look so cool, man. I'm gonna be the coolest rider on the streets. I can see it now. Every single piece of this bike has been cake. All you have is this metal tab and this screw right on the front. There's that side one. All you gotta do is pop that bulb out, swap that mount onto the other, and put it back in. Easy, easy peasy. If you install these cheapies, just know that you have to push really hard down and clockwise to get these to fully click. You think it's in, but it's not. It turns more. Also, my camera's dirty. I'm gonna clean that. That has a little tab right there because it's cheap as can be. So I'm gonna file that real quick. Should fit a little better. All right, one tinted, one not. Not very happy with these. The fit and finish is about pathetic. Freaking looks like it's barely on there, but nope, she's tight. OEM quality fits nicely. I should have just tinted these, but you know, when I'm flying by at approximately Mach chicken, shut up. You won't be able to see. Okay, so I decided to just drain the oil. I was gonna fire it up like a proper dude and heat it up and then drain it, but I decided I don't care because it's a Honda. So I'm gonna drain it right now. I'm gonna get her done. Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, I'm gonna restart. Well, I knew she was going too easy for me. To get this assembly out, all this rubber and garbage is tucked underneath the lip. So you gotta shove the pump assembly forwards and try and get this out without completely and utterly destroying it, which it's already destroyed. And then it just slides out like this. But that was actually pretty hard. She's out now though. Okay, so I tried to buy a nice fuel pump, and the one I found was 15 bucks. So this is wrong. This is wrong. This is different. That one's skinny, that one's pretty fat, but the pump looks the same. So I sure hope it'll work. All we're gonna do is undo that, unplug it, pull it out, put the rubber dill on, and the filter cage, and then we'll go from there. Fuel pump is removed. This clip is a pain in the butt. You gotta get 2 small pliers to push down each of the tabs as you pull back, otherwise you can't unclip it. Careful not to break it. Yeah, should be pretty easy. Stick the rubber on there, put the filter in, and then that little stopper that comes with it. Slap it back together. Good enough for a Honda. All right, I feel like this could be pretty self-explanatory, but if you're replacing the fuel pump in your bike, stay away from Caltrick, because as you can see, the filters go the wrong way. So I think what I'm gonna do is put it on backwards like that, and hopefully I can plug it in and it'll be fine, hopefully. If not, I'll be back in here, but That's what we're gonna do, because that should be the other way around, and it can't be. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Here's what we got going on. The filter is swapped and it fit nicely. The rubber that they gave you is not the right rubber, because it has to sit in this nice metal bracket right down in there that it's not sitting in, which is totally epic, but we don't care. Also, this line decided to commit toaster bath, so I'm just gonna shorten it and send it and see what happens. Hopefully good stuff. So we got a fresh filter in, drain plug is reinstalled, and we have our lovely GN4 that Honda recommends. And I don't know why they put the numbers on the side with no sight, so you can't even tell what's in there. So I just keep an empty Super Tech on hand, and it calls for 3.3 quarts. And I did put some Lucas in there, so I'm gonna go for 3.2, and then check on the sight glass once I have this bad girl fired up. As you're filling up your oil, you want to make sure your funnel slips and drops oil all over you and all over the ground. An unnecessary part of doing an oil change. Well, I don't know if this is like allergic to super glue or what, but I cannot get this freaking loser to stick together, man. Straight up heat gun, super glue, baking soda, like 30 minutes of trying, nothing, won't stick. So we're gonna go back to my roots, the right stuff and some friggin' duct tape. And I'm gonna order that and install it when it gets here, but you know, we're gonna make it happen. Man, I'm just sitting back here miring, frickin' miring, bud. Holy freak. I think we're golden. Yep, pretty proud of that one right there. It is time to install our hack job of a fuel pump. I'm not really sure why they have all this steel wool bound up here with some breather. It sits like that. No idea. But you know what's kind of sad? That's not gonna suck up all the fuel out of the tank. What a freaking pile of crap, man. Oh gosh, well, whatever, it'll be fine. So anyway, we're gonna slide this puppy in here, get all that mess in. Then you really gotta jam it forward. Oh geez, how is that gonna fit? Oh gosh. It's always fun on these custom jobs, I'll tell you what. Let's see if I can get this sucker in there. Okay, so it's in. Don't ask me how I did it. I guess I'll tell you, I folded the filter in half and crammed it in there, and it went in. So we'll see if it works. If not, that's gonna be even harder to take apart than it was before. So now, slap the tank on, and hopefully something good happens. That would be great. All right, well, I think my luck ran out, and then it might have come back. So I got it all installed, no fuel pump, and fuel injection light is on. So I was like, lovely, not priming, nothing. So I got out my power probe, and I checked the fuel pump, and yes, it does work. Thank goodness. Also, my epic duct tape silicone job failed, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Anywho, I was looking on the interwebs, and I found a blown fuse. She's pretty blown, so I'm really hoping that's the problem. We're gonna find out. So, I was checking inside there, FI ignition pump, and all the fuses were fine. That's the fuse that was blown. And lo and behold, primage, focus, yes, all right. Let's see here. She's alive! I'm pumped. All back together. Minus the seat. That's the next obstacle. And she's freaking golden, man. Pretty pumped. Only been sitting for like a year and a half. So, a little tear in the seat. Got a new seat cover soaking in the sun. I'm gonna rip out these little dilly whackers and slap seat cover on there. When I'm doing seat covers, especially super funky ones like this, I try and line it up as straight as I can. 1 or 2 staples in the front, 1 or 2 staples in the back. Take a real good look at it. And then I'm gonna go up here from these corners, put a staple or 2 up there and there, look at it some more. And then you kind of want to either start from the back or the front and work your way in. I usually do a little bit in the back, come to the front, do a little bit in the front, see where the wrinkles are, stretch that area more than others. I had it in the sun. It gets cool really quick, but hopefully we're gonna get her done with no wrinkles and just take your time. Go real easy, 1/4 inch staples, so you don't have little pokies. And yeah. So I decided to start at the front on this. And I'm really just spacing them out until I get it all the way on without any wrinkles. I think right here is gonna be the worst part, but I haven't done any of this in here, so I can stretch that out and make it fit real nice. This dips down really hard, so this is gonna need to be pulled back, and even the stock had some air underneath there, so I'm really not too worried, but it's looking pretty good. Might throw in the sun for a minute. It just really helps it stretch out and conform to the seat. And there she is, complete. She's no show queen, but that seat turned out pretty good, honestly. Now she just needs some new shoes and she's good to hook. Anyways, hopefully you guys learned something, if anybody even watches this. I do a little bit of dirt bike stuff. CR500 AF. I'm into vintage Hondas, a couple builds. That one's 140. Got a lot of parts for that right there. Got this cool old vintage bike over here. Little Z50 I'm gonna be doing here shortly. A couple of 70s. I'm into cars. Porsche 944 S2. Lots of 3-wheelers, Nova, some MR2s, a couple cars out back. Thanks for watching. Like I said, hopefully you learned something, and if not, you learned that you should not buy a Caltrick $15 fuel pump. Okay, thanks for watching.